Real quick, before we get into the goodness, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you're notified to every time we upload a video. Appreciate you. Now, this next topic is something that is incredibly hard, not impossible, just hard to find supporting information for. And the reason it's hard to find supporting information for this topic is, to be honest with you, it blows up a liberal narrative. The liberal narrative being that the women are always the victim. The liberal narrative being that fathers always get the advantages. The topic I am referring to is anti-men bias in the family court system. I have experienced it. I have witnessed it. And it's amazing how when you enter that into a Google search, it all comes back about how the women are not treated fairly. I want to take you back to 2004. In 2004, on Christmas Day, the mother of my oldest child, whom we had broken up in June, July of that same year, she came to my home on Christmas Day, had her new boyfriend and two of his friends jump me, put me in a hospital, and take our daughter. Now, you would hear that and think, open and shut case, kidnapping, blah, blah, blah. Well, see, that's where the courts come in. Because there was no legal court-ordered verification on where my daughter lived or where she would stay, it could not be considered kidnapping. Even though she was forcefully taken and I was assaulted, it wasn't considered kidnapping. Now, I want y'all to flip that. Let's say a father goes to a mother's house, has his girlfriend and two of her friend girls jump the mother of that child and take it away. How fast do you think an Amber Alert would be out and that father would be incarcerated? No brainer. When I went to file a police report for that, and they sent me, they honestly didn't even know where to send me. They literally had me bouncing back and forth between floors because they didn't know whether to make this a domestic abuse case or a standard assault case. I went back and forth between floors 3 times until they finally figured something out. They finally decided to make it a family domestic abuse case, domestic violence. When they gave me the worksheet to fill out, let me tell y'all how the questions went. When did he first hit you? When was the last time he hit you? When was the last time he saw you? Nothing about her. It wasn't a when did she do it? No. It was all he. It was amazing. Insulting. And the insult to me was enraging. And yet people will tell you that racism, the system is racist. The system is racist. No, the system is gender bias. Overwhelmingly. Because then in the years-long custody hearings, the many court appearances that strained to the utmost my pocketbooks, I learned swiftly that women, no matter what side they fall on, will always be seen as the victims 90% of the time. While I was sitting in a lot of courtrooms waiting upon my case to be called, I would see other family court cases, and men go to jail for various reasons, either not bringing a child back to the designated drop-off on time, not paying child support, yada, yada, yada. What I find interesting is you can find, as I mentioned, a lot of articles that say, no, the women are treated or mistreated. No, it's the women. That's what the articles say. That's what a lot of opinion pieces say. That's what they will try to skew numbers in and make numbers lean in their favor to say. But the more I searched, I found a lot more articles being put out by law firms that were actually in these courtrooms saying, hey man, men aren't treated right. Hell, even in some articles where they try to defend the women, they have to say, well, kinda, but not really. Check this out. In an article that I found from Custody Exchange, it says, the topic being family courts biased against fathers. Are family courts biased against fathers? No. The custody laws in many jurisdictions explicitly state that the custody decisions cannot be based solely on gender. That tells me nothing. That says nothing. Just because the law says it's supposed to be a particular way doesn't mean that the law is a particular way. What do you think that black folks fought for during the civil rights era? Laws not being applied equally and fairly for black people. It does say, check this out, if bias exists, it comes from the individuals working within the court system. Then the system...
This bitch can't be serious.
Oh, what's not from the system? It's the people that work in the system.
What the hell did you just say?
Mother... It's the people that make up the system. So if you have individuals that are biased, guess what?
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Let me relate it to people who like to scream racism, racism, racism. If you say that, no, so-and-so city law enforcement, that law enforcement system isn't racist, but every member that works inside that law enforcement system is racist, what does that make the system?
You're racist.
They tried to have it both ways. Y'all saw it. Y'all heard me read it. They tried to have it both ways. So like I said, even when they try to tell you, it's not man bias. It's not biased against men. Well, but there are people within, that's almost everybody within there. And I say that with confidence. I say that as a man who had to be in and out of court for 8 years for various reasons, dealing with custody matters with my oldest child. And then if y'all don't believe that the system is biased against men, let me ask y'all this. Men and women both that are listening. Have y'all seen men go to jail in behind missing child support payments? When they show up in court and they are behind child support payment, the judge may give them 30 days to get caught up. 30 days, no matter the amount. The judge will tell them you have 30 days to get caught up. At our next court appointment, you need to have that money. And when it starts off, the first thing the judge is going to do is ask for that money. If you do not have it, they will have the bailiff lock you up on the spot.
Locked up, won't let me out.
I've seen it far too many times. I saw a man get locked up because he got sick, couldn't work, so he was down $300. When he did not bring that $300 to court, had him locked up. Does anybody out there listening to me right now believe that a man can walk inside a courtroom and be behind on child support thousands of dollars and walk out that courtroom?
Fuck no!
It ain't gonna happen. You know it, I know it, we all know it. It ain't gonna happen. It happened with the mother of my oldest daughter 4 times. And every time she walked out owing more than when she walked in. And they kept letting her walk out. By the end of it, by the time my child was 18, she owed almost $5,000 in back child support. They didn't go arrest her. They claimed they couldn't find her job. None of that. And as it pertains to the criminal side of it, when I was assaulted and the paperwork finally made it to a detective, he didn't want to go question the dude. But the system is not set up against men, right? It's women that have all the victim status. No, men get treated like shit in the system. I will give you another case in point when I tell y'all that the system is not set up for men. I know of someone, personally, have witnessed it, going through a divorce. Wife didn't have a job, wife cheated on him, man filed for divorce, and when they went to court, the judge told him that he had to leave, get another place, while also maintaining the rent and utilities and all the bills on the place that they shared together. And they would come back in 3 months to revisit to see how she's doing and if she found a job. And of course, in 3 months, she hadn't. And by this time, the judge had wised up and told her, well, in 3 more months, you had better have one because Mr. X is moving back into the place and you need to be gone. But the fact that for 6 months, he had to pay rent on a place that he was staying temporarily and maintain bills on a place that he was no longer at, for what reason? He's the one with the job. She was the one who cheated. Why is he being punished? Because the system is set up for women. I'll give you another example. I know another individual who had a fling with a female and she claimed that she got pregnant by him. He said, fine, get a paternity test. And she wouldn't. She kept putting it off. Well, he went on and got married. And once he got married, she came back with that whole drama. Oh, this baby's yours. You're not going to take care of your kid. Blah, blah, blah. This is a real deal. 11 years, I say again, 11 years later, she gets a paternity test done. It's his kid. Do you think the judge gave a damn about the story that even she corroborated and said, no, I didn't get a paternity test done until now and I was BSing, and the old witnesses said she kept putting it off. She kept holding it over his head. The judge not only started hitting him with child support, but then hit him with back child support. How was that right? Because the system is set up for women. It's even documented that if you are put on child support and you find out that the child is not yours, you just can't instantly up and stop paying. You have to go through the courts and get another court order to say, hey, this man will no longer pay child support. And even if you are behind in child support, if you are behind and find out that that man is not the father of that child, do you know you still got to pay that back child support? That's the system. And in some cases, that man, depending on how long he had been paying child support, is still on the hook, even though the kid ain't his. And do you know what happens to the woman? Nothing. She doesn't have to pay the man back. None of that shit. She doesn't get time in jail. Nothing. So when bullshit ass women talk about how oppressed they have it, how much they are treated unfairly,
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
let me put y'all in the shoes of a man. See how much you like it. Because every day we get up, from the time the sun rises until the time the sun sets, there is pressure put on us that y'all will never know. So take your women or victim mentalities and go flush that shit down the toilet where it belongs. Hey, I hope you have enjoyed that YouTube exclusive video. That is a small segment from our podcast, Free Mind Thinkers, which can be found on all places that you may download your favorite podcast, including iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and any place else you choose to download your podcast. If you want to see Rumble exclusive videos, you can check us out over there, where you have exclusive content from the shows as well. Until the next time, remember to stand up, stand out, think differently.